Ready? Where are my minutes? Oh, there, sorry. All right, welcome to the January 8th, 2025 Delhi Trustee meeting. First one of the year, so Happy New Year, everybody. We'll open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence, as we always do. This week's moment of silence is in memory of Bob Chetwood. Bob served as a police officer in Delhi Township starting in 1969. He rose in the ranks to lieutenant over his 27-year career with Delhi until he retired in 1996. Prior to his service with Delhi Township, he proudly served his country in the Coast Guard and worked with the Cincinnati Police. Bob passed away on New Year's Eve. He is survived by a large family. His wife, Janice Teeny Vineyard Chetwood, his brother, Gary Chetwood, and his wife, Nancy, his son, Mark Chetwood, and his wife, Marcia, his daughter, Patricia Beal, and her husband, Doug, as well as 3 stepchildren and their spouses, 3 brother-in-laws, 2 sister-in-laws, 17 grandchildren, and God bless him, 18 great-grandchildren, plus 1 on the way. Visitation is tomorrow, Thursday, January 9th, from 5 to 7 at the Radel Funeral Home on Neeb Road. His funeral service will be held on Friday, January 10th, also at Radel Funeral Home. Our condolences go out to the Lieutenant Chetwood's family, as well as our past and current police officers for their loss. May he rest in peace. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, we have an appointment. Are you okay?
Yeah, I don't like the cotton milk.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have an appointment, please.
We have a motion to appoint trustee to serve as board chair.
I will move to appoint Cheryl Seavey as board chair.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations, Cheryl.
Congratulations, Cheryl.
Here's your gavel.
Thank you. I'd like to begin this year by saying, first off, thank you to Rose Sturtz for her year of service as chairman. And we've certainly have had an exciting year with lots of special events. And she has done a wonderful job in presenting Delhi Township in every event that we had this past year. So thank you very much, Rose, for your year as board chair, and I look forward to the upcoming year as well.
Thank you very much. It really has been my honor to serve during this very special year, and I look forward to us continuing, and though the gavel's been passed, that we continue as a team and moving Delhi forward. So thank you, Trustee Seavey.
Okay. All right, then. Approval of the minutes, Mr. Luby?
Motion to approve the minutes from the special meetings on November 21st and 22nd and regular meeting on November 26th, 2024.
I will so move that.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved.
Motion to approve the payment of overtime for pay periods ending December 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve bills for payment.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion approved. Report from the fiscal officer, Mr. Luby.
We have resolution 2025-1 amending appropriations for expenses and dispensing with the second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Is there any discussion on this resolution?
Yes, our first payroll of 2025 decided to come out early this year. So with a holiday, the bank pulled the money out of our bank account in 2024. So that's why we had to adjust appropriations and add the payroll into 2024.
Okay.
I will move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes. Resolution passes.
As far as significant transactions since our last meeting, We did pay PNC Bank $154,000. That is our last payment on the Greenwell Fire Station. We paid Bureau of Workers' Comp $151,000, which is we pay them once a year. And then we had a payment to Midtown Health for $151,000, which were for startup expenses in 2024. Our payroll on 1/2/25 was $361,000, and our payroll on 12/19 was $389,000. As far as deposits go, we did receive $39,000 for the sale of some police cruisers, received $40,000 from Oak Hills for their payment for the school resource officer, and we received $61,000 for gasoline tax and our local government distribution. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Luby. Trustee correspondence, Trustee Davis?
Just 2 points. One on Bob Chetwood. Anyone who's been around Delhi long enough remembers, yes, Officer Chetwood, for good and bad ways, maybe. It depends how well you knew him. But he was a true legend out here. He truly was, and he was respected. And, you know, a whole different era, if you would, with the police division and some of the lack of respect that these officers get. It wasn't just freely given, but it was earned, as well as our Delhi police. They earn that respect. It's not assumed. So we remember the type of Bob Chetwood who, you know, he meant what he said, and he said what he meant, and it was consistent. And you knew that if he stopped you or something, it wasn't going to be heavy-handed. It was, he's going to find out what's going on and help you through your problem there. And I say that not because I had a personal run-in, but he really was a respected police officer. So when we read it, his passing, I hope people can remember that and remember him. If you saw pictures of when he was younger, something would click and you'd be like, I remember him. Absolutely. And we're just so, the police division that we have here in Delhi is awesome. And Bob will certainly be missed, and his presence and his spirit at all the events that he would still come out to. So God bless you, and vaya con Dios, Bob. My second point is, as I'm sure all of us are going to talk about, hopefully not all of us, but you'll talk about the cleanup on the roads with the snow, ice, everything. I only throw that out there because, you know, this was the largest snowfall that you've had in about 15 years. And thank you, Ron, the entire team, everybody that pitched in to try and get these roads cleaned and cleared. And it wasn't perfect. We've seen some of your emails where you got blocked in by the snowplow, piled snow and things. But we also saw many, many compliments for the job that was done out here. So thank you for that. And I especially enjoyed, I have to say this, listening to 700 WLW today on my lunch break, listening to these people in the city of Cincinnati who are off school still because the roads aren't clear. And I heard I think it was the mayor who was on there talking about, they just don't know where to put all this snow. They don't know what to do with it all. And again, it was a reminder of how happy and proud I am to be in Delhi Township. Again, we're not a perfect township. We are not perfect people, but we really do strive to give you the best, to give you excellence that you deserve and that you pay for through taxes and everything else. But it was refreshing to hear that. Also was refreshing during that snowstorm to have people going nuts on Lower Delhi for that light that was installed, and people having to stop in the middle of that snowstorm to try and get up that hill, you know, and those people that pushed that and rammed that through, Ron, to get that stoplight, to get all that done with the speed bumps, including speed bumps going uphill. Thank you for that. You know, our residents really appreciated that. And my apologies to all those who got stuck, that ran off the road, for a couple of the accidents that happened down there. I'm sorry. And again, that's in the city of Cincinnati. It's not Delhi. And horrible, horrible, horrible planning. And for those cars to have to stop at that red light trying to get up the hill in the middle of a foot of snow, way to go. Really, really great idea. As you put that light in, why? Why, Ron? To avoid what? Accidents. Oh, we've had so many accidents. Bull, and shame on them. And I apologize for our incredible residents here in the township who had to go through that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Trustee Sturts.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you to all of our people that worked endless hours. And again, you try to educate what roads are Delhi's and which ones aren't, and the ones that are blasting us for the main roads, which aren't ours. So all we can do is educate and educate, educate. You guys did a great job. We thank you very much. I'm sure you had a lot of endless and sleepless nights. Can't wait to see that overtime. But anyway, again, thank you. Yes, and like Mike said, I'm sure Trustee Seavey's also going to have kudos for all of you. But anyway, another thing I'd like to talk about is we had, and I like how our departments work with each other, together. We got a letter of thank you and commendation to two of our firefighters when they had to help the police get into a house recently. We won't say where it was. So they came, helped them get in, and found the house in some pretty bad shape, children in pretty bad shape, and not an adult under control of the children. And our firefighters took these children who were dirty, undressed, whatever, gave them baths, hugged on them, dressed them, gave them some security until somebody could come and take care of them outside of our jurisdiction. That's not something that we do. But just the love that the police were able to call the fire to help them come in and take care of these children who needed this help and love that they were able to give them. That's not in their job descriptions, ladies and gentlemen. It's just who they are and how they work, and that's where their minds are, is take care of our children, take care of our residents. So the two officers that, police, were firefighter Conklin, Whitney, right? And Lieutenant Austin Eckler were the two that were commended. So thank you to all of our department. This is just a situation that we were made aware of. We know that every day they're out there doing their best. So thank you, and God bless everybody. Hope everybody's okay.
Following the other two, I just want to say that if this isn't a reminder of how fortunate we are to be in Delhi, between the roads, the schools, the care that's being given by our police and our fire department, we are a very fortunate township. Others do not have the ability to appreciate what we have. It's tremendous. One idea, though, Mike, I have to share with you, came to me about the stoplight. Mm-hmm. We need to put up a big sign that says, "You have left Delhi." and I thought that was very clever. We're going to put up a big sign that says, "You have left Delhi Township."
Delhi.
Because we hear a lot about that lower Delhi, and that's not in the township. So thank you for everyone getting us through the storm of, what was it, 75, I guess, storm of 25. Yeah, 78, and then we've just done it again. So we'll continue on. Mr. Luby, did you have anything you wanted to add tonight?
No, I'm good.
Okay. You're good? All right. Well, then let's hear from the fire department.
We have a motion to accept the voluntary resignation of career firefighter paramedic Zeno H. Perry IV, effective January 28, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes. Thank you for your service, Zeno.
Yes. Motion approved.
No.
Any updates from the fire department?
Yes.
Chief Campbell?
Yes, thank you, trustees. So certainly with Zeno's departure, he provided tremendous service to the community. He was from Delhi. We hate to see him go, but certainly he will continue his services for the city of Cincinnati. And we look forward to finding someone else that can kind of fill those shoes. So with that, we've already begun the hiring process because we were aware of 3 retirements. Mm-hmm. So that process just added an additional spot in that. We currently have 4 applicants that we're going to begin running through the process of interviews. And again, these are all internal candidates, so we did not have to go outside look for qualified folks. So it's good that they're familiar names and faces, and certainly this is what we've teed ourselves up for a number of years when this did happen. I want to just kind of brief the board. Delhi Township's citizens are fortunate. The Life Pack 35s that we received last year are now in service and on all the trucks. So all our transports are outfitted with these new cardiac monitors. These are going to be a big game changer for our community in terms of how we manage cardiac events, heart attacks, resuscitation efforts and things like that. And so it hasn't been easy. If you guys recall, we ordered these in July and they're just now going in service. That's a lot of man hours and training, getting them equipped, getting them designed, get everybody comfortable with all the changes, the technology that's involved to communicate to the hospitals, the reporting. It's unbelievable. We take it for granted how truly connected all these devices are, and it's been a one little glitch after another. But we have to remember it's because we're the first. We're the guinea pigs. We're the ones that have to go through it. Hospitals haven't even gotten theirs yet. So we're well ahead of the curve. And again, this is our goal of providing the best services to our community. With that, I spoke to the board quite a while ago that we were going to invest in utilizing ketamine as an alternative to opioid pain management. We currently carry fentanyl as our pain management of choice. However, with current levels of addiction, people's fear of taking fentanyl and the side effects and things like that, now we will be utilizing ketamine as an alternative to pain management and things like that. So we can comfortably transport and stabilize people without having to use narcotics. We did finish out the year just under 4,500 runs. I apologize to the board. It's going to be a little delayed in getting monthly reports back up and running because we did change record management systems. So we're kind of in with the new, out with the old, and we're working through some of the data to make sure that we get that stuff appropriate to you. And then finally, just with the snow, just kind of a big overall consideration of some of the things we're looking at is we talk about clear access to the streets and things like that. We would like folks to kind of consider, if you've got a neighbor that's struggling and you see that, they're already maybe have wheelchair access and things like that, think about the access for EMS. If an ambulance is called over there, are we going to have clear access to, the house from the street? Driveways, we've unfortunately found a number of situations where it's required 2 stations to roll out to assist with getting a patient out of their house because of the amount of snow and ice. Again, we're doing it. People don't think about these things and realize it, but if you do have neighbors that need a little bit extra help and things like that, getting them the resources to take care of those would be helpful. Also, hydrants. If you're seeing a hydrant that's buried above where you can only see the bonnet, consider what a firefighter is going to have to do as far as the extra time to break that loose. Now, we're digging out the best we can. We're ones that we see, but we're not policing it. So if you're back in a cul-de-sac and your hydrant is buried, we may not know about it until we show up at your house and try to use it. We know their locations, but if they're buried in snow, you just got to think about the difficulty with that. If folks could take a couple extra minutes, whether they're out there at the end of the driveway, and just knock any snow or ice free from the steamers, that would be very helpful as well. Think about carbon monoxide detectors. Make sure that your house is protected. Make sure that your batteries are fresh, because the number of people running cars and all our gas run devices do create a lot of problems this time of year, especially with as much as getting boarded up with the continual snow. Space heaters, make sure you got proper spacing and ventilation if you're going to use them. We would advise not using them, so they are open flame style, kerosene and stuff like that. If you still have one of those, your best bet is to kind of move on, find an electronic one, and don't use them in spaces that are not occupied. It's best to have somebody there attending to them when they occur. That way, if there's a problem. And then finally, cleanup. please make sure if you've got a live Christmas tree, we've gone a long season, they're going to be dried out and not appropriate to be in the house. It's just a tinder box, so if you guys could get that removed. Just odds and ends with this time of year, some of the things that people don't think about, just as a reminder for safety. But thanks again. Appreciate it. Look forward to having another good 2025.
Chief, there was a post recently about gas furnace vents on the exterior of houses and make sure that they are also open and are able to reach air.
Yes, so we did have an instance of this. If you recall the fire we had on Ebenezer back in December. So birds, if they're not properly screened, will nest in an open hole. That's the vent that either draws in fresh air or exhaust. And if it's the fresh air, it'll basically prevent oxygen from getting into the gas furnace. It makes it run lean, and so the air create more carbon monoxide in that instance. So it's a fire hazard, obviously. If you have a nest in an exhaust, it could catch fire, but also in an inlet that is not protected, it could actually create carbon monoxide problems. So that is true.
All right,
Yep.
thank you. Anything, Trustee Davis?
No.
Trustee Sturts?
No,
All
thank you
right.
very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Police Department then, Chief Braun? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to skip the Parks Department. Sorry, Mr. Soupy.
That's all good. I have nothing on the agenda tonight, but a couple updates. We did have an update on the shipping of the dog park equipment. Not that it's going to go in right away with the snow, but it is the end of January to early February, so we'll get those stuff in, get it started, unpacked, and see where we need to go with it. Our Parks Department is helping with the snow removal with the road crew, so we're doing all the lots, the roadways, the sidewalks. So along with that, our senior center was the very last to go because they follow Oak Hill School District, and they've been closed. I spoke with the president of the senior facility, and they are staying out of there until next Tuesday. So we are waiting on that. So once all the roadways, the parks, everything is cleared, we'll end up getting over to the sidewalks there as well. I know there's a couple comments for the kids going to school and things, so we are concentrating on the major stuff first until the sidewalks are there. Let's see. And to add what Doug said, along with the Christmas tree recycling, you can drop yours off at Floral Paradise. It is all cautioned off for safety to make sure everything's cleaned off, and we'll end up recycling that. It'll probably stay open until after January 12th. We'll get a couple stragglers, so anything's welcome.
All right, anything?
Nope.
Thank
All
you.
right.
We know you were driving too, so thank you.
All right, now Police Department, Chief Braun.
Thank you. So I had a lot of notes here for obviously Mr. Lieutenant Chetwood, but you guys obviously covered it eloquently, so I really appreciate you doing that. You know, I had written down true legend like Mr. Davis had mentioned. I mean, as a kid, I never really interacted with him, but I remember seeing those mirrored shades, and, you know, he used to scare the heck out of everybody. So he wasn't a man of many words, but when he said something, people listened. So we're looking forward to obviously spending some good time with his family over the next couple of days, and if anybody wants to come out and obviously greet the family, we'd certainly appreciate that. So thank you for all your kind words. He certainly will be missed. Just a couple crime stats from 2024. Crime ended up being, for the total year, 18.3% down from 2023. Our dispatches through the county have gone up almost 5% from 23. Big increase for incidents in our records management system. We saw a 17% increase. So when you're handling that many more incidents and crime goes down 18%, that's huge. You know, we're obviously seeing a lot more service-related type calls, and, you know, and our young men and women are obviously making more runs, but they're still doing such a good job that we're keeping that crime number down. So that's huge. Crashes, which is another big one, we're pretty close to what we were in 23. You're looking at like a 2.5% decrease from 23 into 24. So, but I can't be more proud of our people. You guys said a lot of nice things earlier, so thank you for that. But, you know, anytime you see a double-digit decrease in crime, and when your run volume is going up like that, it's impressive. I know I'm a little biased, but they do a great job. I also wanted to throw a plug out to Ron Rippiger and his crew for all the stuff during the snow. We, shockingly, during that 3-day time frame, we took 8 crash reports. So obviously people were listening to what they were being told and staying home, staying off the road. Most of them were true accidents. We did have a few hit skips where people hit cars and left. Those are always fun, of course, but, those are sad cases. But we did have a DUI crash, so somebody was out experiencing the snow and drinking and driving, which is obviously dangerous. So it's always dangerous, but especially when the roads are slippery. But other than that, I don't have anything else, and if you have any questions for me.
Okay, nothing here.
Chief, on the hit skips, within range of the flock cameras, not? Or I would imagine our investigations, if they could do it, maybe ring cameras in the neighborhood. I'm not sure where they occurred. I'm just asking.
Yeah, those are things we look at. Obviously, with, I don't want to share our secrets, but, with the snow, the license plates are covered, and that's why it's a violation not to uncover your plate when you're driving. But, they're still working through those options, and, hopefully we'll come to a successful conclusion.
Okay. Can I ask you to repeat one more time that 18%?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Crime in 24 compared to 23 is down 18.3%.
And the number of runs and such?
So dispatches through the county, which is just the ones that people will call the comm center, those were up almost 5%, 4.9%. And the incidents that our folks handled was an increase of 16.8%.
So 18%, the crime level in 2024 was down 18% compared to 2023. I only repeat that for those that are watching at home and for our bandits on social meanness network who try to put stuff out that's not accurate. The crime and such is going on all over, and it's going up different areas. There's no question about that. But that's why we have the police force we have. That's why the community is supportive and passes levies so that number can be 18% lower. So fantastic job to you, but also for the residents to realize that. The nice thing about Delhi is, you commit a crime, most of those are going to get resolved. They're going to be solved and figure out who's involved. And in this era of everything is on film, people. Think about it. If you feel so compelled to go do your crime, go do it somewhere else. Do it in the city. Do it across the Delhi lines, because there's cameras everywhere out here, including the flock cameras, and you're going to get caught. You will eventually get caught. So hearing that, I hope other people hear that also, but where is that posted? That should be posted and tattooed everywhere so people can feel safe in their community, and we will continue to be vigilant in 2025, certainly not rest on our laurels, but yeah, that's a fantastic number, and people need to understand that, especially those that sit there and talk about, oh, crime is out of hand here. No, here's what the official statistics say. It's 18% lower.
And just to go back to something I was thinking about, Lieutenant Chetwood, he was a relentless police officer, and I will say that, our investigative unit, our patrol officers, when a crime happens, our folks are relentless, and they're going to track people down, and we're going to hold them accountable. And that's a fingerprint that Lieutenant Chet has left on the agency all those years he served, before I got here, actually. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then. That's all, Chief?
That's all I have, unless you have something.
That was a lot. It was all good news.
Yeah.
Thank you. Public Works Department, Mr. Rippinger.
I have a few things.
I would imagine you do.
I'll try to make it fairly brief, I guess.
No, give us the facts. Give us a good word.
Let's see. First of all, just a little bit of information about how we split up the routes and stuff like that. It's 55 lane miles of road. It's split up to between 5 routes. If we can get a 6th truck out, if it's time sensitive to keep rush hour and get things done faster, we do that as much as we can. But we had a few things working against us on this storm. One was the timing. We never wanted to quit snowing during the daytime. I think it stopped around 1:30-ish, 2 o'clock. So that means, everybody's out shoveling while we're trying to clean. So that makes it difficult. The amount of snow we got, the length of the storm, we can't, people are driving or at least running skeleton crews or what have you through the night, which lessens people that can help, drivers that can help during the day. So takes a little bit longer to clean up because of the length of the storm. The temperatures were cold. Let's see, truck-wise, I think we still are repairing one truck now that was down most of the storm. Luckily, we have a good spare that we ran the whole time. To talk a little bit about cul-de-sacs, I know we get a little bit of kickback, not much, but and this is common through like Green Township. I talk to them pretty often. We have 250 cul-de-sacs. So if you spent roughly 15, 20 minutes cleaning each one, I think I calculated up to it's roughly 80 hours split between 5 trucks. So typically, unless the cul-de-sac isn't flat, we kind of put that off toward last, which the city kind of does the same thing. Green does. You do your priority roads first to keep safety services moving throughout the storm as much as you can. I know fire reached out to us that I remember at least twice that they had a run and requested us to meet them at the street, which worked out good. So the past couple, well, we tried to today, but it snowed again this morning. We got out there a little bit running one backhoe, 2 skid steers, trying to clean up some of our cul-de-sacs that we have trouble with. And I think I got a picture on there, Skylar, that you can go to. Can you show the picture of the cul-de-sac?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that's a little nicer weather, but if you look, there's
Looks like spring.
Yeah, go back one. There's a fire hydrant on the right, and then you can't see all of it, but this is our typical cul-de-sac picture. There's really nowhere to put the snow. And if there is, our trucks are big for this reason. Sometimes we get bigger snows. Well, we can't make the turn completely. So, luckily we do go out after everything's, all the main streets are open, and go out there with loaders, try to clean up some of these for multiple reasons, like the fire chief said, opening up fire hydrants. We cleared a few of those today. We do have a list for if inlets get covered, so it doesn't flood people's basement when this starts melting. So we try to stay on top of that. We open it up the best we can. Obviously, the cars that are parked on the street, the more that are out of the way, the more we'll clean. But unfortunately, if there's a lot of cars out there, which the residents did, fairly good. There's still a lot of cars, but you could tell a lot were moved also. So that's been going pretty smooth. We did get some salt deliveries yesterday, so we're not doing too bad there, as long as we get a little break from snow, which isn't going to happen probably.
Right.
I do constantly talk to like Green Township, Hamilton County engineers, which I think we've done a good job promoting which roads are maintained by Hamilton County engineers. It's pretty much everything either double yellow or 35 miles per hour. I think during this storm, they run 4 trucks out of Delhi, and I think the majority of the time, I think they had 2 trucks down. So overall, those guys did it, everybody worked hard, and I think overall they did a pretty good job. Every storm's different. This one cleaned up, fairly good if you stayed on it. I think if it quit around 2, everything was passable fairly quick within a few hours. And I know our plan was to jump on that while the temperatures were still warmish and the salt was working. So that worked pretty good. Trying to think of anything else. We do talk to Oak Hills often. This morning at 4:30 in the morning, I think it started. They did keep school in. Luckily, that was a surprise snow. It never really got slick, but I think it snowed about a half an inch. Mm-hmm. So that worked out good. As far as I know, the last I'd heard, Hamilton County is not fixing mailboxes that were knocked over with snow. I think they started that quite a few years ago. So I'm sure we'll get some calls on that. Did anybody have any other questions about snow stuff?
Well, you're going to be hit again, from what we understand, Friday and Saturday. So are all of our trucks ready to go again? drivers?
5 out of 6, but we hope to have
You've
the other
given the
one.
drivers now, a few hours of sleep. And
We've been trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that timing of that next one isn't going to be that great either, so we'll try to figure that out tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
Go ahead,
Mike,
Rose.
You're next. Go.
I had one, somebody had mentioned that, and again, they wanted their cul-de-sac because it was all piled in there, and they'd even mentioned that there were actually 2 people in the truck. Why are there 2 people in the truck? Only to find out that you were training one of
Yes.
the people. That's why there were 2 in that truck. You mentioned about the fire making contact with you, asking assistance to try and salt the road, and get some snow so they could get to the run. And I know, Chief Braun, you have other retired police officers and such that come and work auxiliary details and things. Do those retired firemen, Chief, do they all have their CDLs? I mean, could we, I don't know how that works. And again, I'm not trying to flip the car. I'm just curious how that works.
No, a matter of fact, we do have firefighters that do have their CDL, but it's not a requirement of the job. So the vast majority do not have CDLs to operate a fire apparatus.
So like the retired ones or whatever.
I do not know of any retired that have a CDL. No.
You mentioned about the fire and things like that. And I thought, well, we can hit that. But again,
But luckily, we were thinking ahead, and we do have 2 out of 5 trucks that are non-CDL.
yeah.
And we've been utilizing multiple departments, and you couldn't pick a better opportunity because the past few years have definitely been light on snow. So we wanted as many people as they can to get that experience.
Absolutely. And again, as much snow as you had, I mean, it was a great job from everybody. So
Yeah.
I just curious how that works. Yeah.
We're gonna.
I'm talking out of school here a little bit, but what's the spec that changes the standard from CDL to non-CDL vehicle?
It's the
Is it the
gross
weight?
vehicle weight rating, and I believe it's 20. If you got to stay under like 26.5, if I remember right,
Okay,
right at that. And our smaller trucks meet that by a couple hundred pounds.
nice. Okay,
So,
that's great.
No, it's
Yeah,
definitely
very-
opened up some more drivers. So if we keep getting these storms, and you guys are available,
Yeah, great.
Still be in place, but the Ohio statute used to provide that you guys could plow.
We've been at OTA where we got a snow
Oh, yeah.
and in the smaller townships, all of a sudden their trustees are leaving to go clean streets.
Yep.
So yeah, that's happened. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
We would all do it,
nobody's in the
wouldn't we?
meetings.
We'd
I
all
wouldn't
do
be
it.
doing donuts. I'm sorry. And I wouldn't want to get in that big truck. Ron, my question is, I just want to clarify because I don't want people to get confused. You said 4 trucks operate out of Delhi, and you're talking about Hamilton County.
Hamilton County,
And
correct.
2 of those were down.
for quite a while. I don't know. I know one's been sitting there for a few days, and it hasn't moved. So
I just don't want anybody that's listening to get that confused with us having 4 trucks down. It was Hamilton County.
Correct.
We hit our 5 out of 6, and they
Yeah.
were going strong. So
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we had one in place. It worked out good. Unfortunately, it did, break early. Let's see, the plow hit a sewer that normally it didn't hit before, but last summer, we went out and I think fixed 25 manholes, but, sometimes we miss some, sometimes it catches and doesn't, so we try to stay proactive because we want to keep the trucks in good shape.
And this is also one reason we don't do speed bumps in Delhi.
That is another reason.
There we go.
Great reason.
Yeah, I do want to thank the board. I know it definitely helps having, nice equipment, and we take care of it,
Yeah.
so we appreciate it.
That shovel hits that bump and boom.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you
Okay,
answering my questions.
I'll be quick.
Go ahead.
But thanks to the drivers. I think Skylar's going to list them out here shortly. And then we haven't had a meeting since Christmas. Just wanted to shout out to the residents for recycling. It was probably the smoothest year of the recycling containers. I mean, we still put a lot of time in it, clean it up, but you can see a lot of residents that recycle. That'll take time and clean up some of the stuff that blows around after they're emptied and stuff. But it was probably the smoothest year I've seen.
I agree.
Yeah.
'Cause I drive by the overflowing dumpsters, and no, this year we were good.
It was
Everybody-
minimal. Yeah, it went smooth.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, we
Thank
were
you,
up there
Ron.
doing cardboard, and another car was there, and they were trying to shove it in, and I said, I'm coming back, and they said, that's a good idea. And they took theirs and put it in my
Yes.
truck, too. I
Yeah.
said, it'll be emptied in a couple days. Okay.
Ron, one last comment too, because people I saw on social networks, whatever, my driveway, and they did this and that. Folks, just call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call the township. Going on social media is not going to help get your driveway or your street cleaned. We're here for you, and if we miss something, just let us know. It's that simple. It's really not that tough.
Yeah, we waited for a good time to post a lot of Facebook things to be proactive, and there's a lot of good information on there, and they can always give us a call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ron. Thank you to all of our CDL drivers, too. Okay, I have administration next on my agenda. Usually you're last, but you're going to go now?
That's fine.
Okay, administration then.
The new year.
There's a resolution, Mr. Luby?
We have Resolution 2025-2, amending compensation for the Township Law Director, declaring an emergency and dispensing with a second reading.
I will introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Look at me smile.
Just, yeah. Just briefly.
Passed all year.
I believe Brian has been the Township Law Director since 2017, is that correct? 2018?
Named since 18.
18, okay, thank you.
17.
Yep, so the township has a long history working with Dinsmore, not only with Brian, but some of the other attorneys for specialty work, TIF, contract, employment. But this resolution is to amend Brian's compensation. This is his first raise in the entire length of his contract, so it is certainly well-deserved and a long time coming. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Absolutely.
Mrs.
Yes.
Sturts?
Yes, definitely, you deserve it. He's a patient man, 7 years.
Thank you, Brian. We really do appreciate you and, you know, all that you protect us from. So thank you, and it's well-deserved.
Madam Chair, may I have 1 minute to ask a lawyer? I just want to say thank the board. It's been my pleasure to serve actually all the members of the board in my tenure, and fiscal officer as well. And I appreciate at least 3 things about the board. Number 1, they listen to legal advice. Number 2, they ask great questions if they have them. And number 3, they work as a team to collectively benefit the residents. And it's been my pleasure. And, you know, working with Mr. Cameron first and then Mr. Miller now, it's been a great time. I think one of the things that I hope the board sees is that we work for you, and we want you to see look, if we have differences of opinion, we're going to tell you. But at the end of the day, we're working to serve you and ultimately the residents, and I've appreciated the working relationship I had with Skylar, and importantly, all the department heads who I feel, I think most grateful that I feel like they trust me, I trust them, and we're able to get to answers quickly and collaborate. And I really have enjoyed the engagement and want to do it for as long as I do this, and I appreciate it, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Administrators report.
All right. I hate to pile on to the snow discussion, but I'd be remiss
funny.
if I didn't add my 2 cents. So, you know, first off, I was incredibly impressed with the team and their response to this, you know, snow event. This was a massive amount of snow over a very short period of time. So, from me personally, thank you so much for all your hard work. It's not just a team. This was a task force. We actually had 13 different employees from 3 different departments come together. This was a snow task force. So I am going to name them by name individually because they deserve the recognition. From Public Works, we have Keith Duncan, John Gelhausen, John Henson, Don Jenkins, Joe Joyce, Mike Lips, Doug Reeves, Ron Rippenberger. Ezra Witt. From Parks, we had Patrick Burns, Brandon Lowry, and Randy Soupy. And from zoning, new this year, and this was his first event training, was John Schill. So thank you to all of those individuals that was out there working tirelessly and just phenomenal effort. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
Yep. In addition to that, Township administration, we are gearing up for a new year. Essentially teeing up. UAN is now finally up to date with all the appropriations in. So there's a pile of POs for me to meet.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that's our operating system,
Yep.
UAN.
So there was an end of year update in order to that our whole system, our servers, all of our machines had to go through. There was an issue with the server update, so everything was delayed. It was the perfect storm, but that's all up to date. All of our appropriations are in, so the printer is kicking out POs for the new year. So we are moving forward on that. At the state level, I just wanted to let everybody know House Bill 13 was signed by the governor. That'll go into effect in early April. House Bill 13 is a pretty interesting legislation from the state. There's a lot of changes in it to Ohio law that have a direct impact on townships. Essentially, a lot of the components are trying to give us some parity with home rule municipalities, and just kind of moving that needle a little closer to how municipalities operate. So all of that's under review. Potentially, we're going to see some changes and some resolutions that are going to come out of that to implement those updates. Later on this month, the board and some of our department heads and staff members will be going to the OTA Winter Conference. That's January 29th and 31st. Since January 29th is a Wednesday, we will be moving that trustee meeting, our last trustee meeting of the month, to Tuesday, January 28th, still at 6 p.m., but wanted to announce that. Other than that, that's all I have for right now. We'll do some community updates at the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, community development, Mr. Roach.
We have Resolution 2025-3, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 263 Claire Knoll Court, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution. Do we have pictures?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And discussion on this resolution?
Yep, good evening, everyone. Yep, so we have 3 properties, they're all debris. They're all still in violation of this morning. They're a little snow covered, but they're still there, so we're requesting your board declare these 3 properties a nuisance.
Okay.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis? Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-4, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 4118 Delhi Pike, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Roach? Still the same?
Just the same, just some discarded furniture on the property.
Okay.
1 second. We have, I think the agenda, so I think the agenda's correct, but I think our presentation has the wrong numbers. So, is that correct?
Yeah.
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay,
When you added that one.
2, 3. Yeah, so, all right, we're on 004.
4.
All right, presentation's off.
Move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2025-5, declaring nuisance for accumulated debris at 5330 Plum Ridge Drive, declaring an emergency and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
And discussion on this resolution?
Just the same, just.
Same debris. All right, thank you.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Resolution passes. That's all I have from departments. Public comments, I have none, so we can move right into announcements of community events then. Mr. Miller.
Do we have a department update?
Does he have an update?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Roach, you weren't finished.
If you have a minute, Madam Trustee. Just a few things, just a quick update, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So 2024, we issued 246 zoning certificates in the sum of amount of about $14.5 million. So that's not horrible. So people are investing in our township and with improvements, whether it be residential or commercial.
Do you have a comparison from 2023, or?
It wouldn't be fair, Trustee Dave, and I don't know
Because
that
of-
number off the top of my head, just
besides-
because it's the
besides
size of the
DTS.
projects.
Right.
The size of the projects, especially some of the stuff with DTS and the Viridian and things like that. So they were escalated at that time, so.
Gotcha, yeah, sure.
Yep. So I did have the opportunity to meet with the shop manager and the district manager for Take 5 Oil. They are open for business. And I went out there just to welcome to the township, extend the olive branch for a ribbon cutting, and we came to an agreement that we're just going to wait till springtime for a ribbon cutting for them guys across the street and let them get acclimated and get through the snow.
Nice.
Let's see here. I do have a call in for Los Patrones at the main entrance. With my talks with Chief Campbell, I think they've went through all their final inspections and they're right there. So I just wanted to make contact with them just to see, extend that out of the branch as well for ribbon cutting with those guys. For the past several months, Administrator Miller and I have been working with Verge Brewery. I think we're at the finish line to where the township is ready to issue a zoning certificate for them and put the ball in their court so they can go to Hamilton County. They will be located at 4807 Delhi Pike, which is Mike Valvano's building. He moved into the new old Palello's building with his business, and Verge Brewery, which we've been working with Verge Brewery for several years. But this is the first time we've seen plans. Administrator Miller and I went back and forth with some, not concerns, but some ideas and things. And it looks like we're getting ready to issue probably this week a zoning certificate for them.
Great.
That's all I have, unless you would have questions for me.
No.
Any
Good.
questions, Trustee Davis?
No.
Trustee Sturts?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry I skipped your chance.
That's okay. I mean, you're in a rookie seat tonight, so that's all right.
I'll get back into the swing of things. I think now we can go to the announcement of community events.
Gary.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't have a,
No, he doesn't have a split.
Name and
I
address
don't
for
think
the
we're
record.
turned on.
Yeah. And
Is it?
the address, so we don't.
Might have to
Just
touch
give-
the
I'm
button.
sorry.
Yeah, if you could just give your name, please.
Gary Swafford. I want to thank everybody for their services here in Delhi. They do a wonderful job. Trustees all the way across the board. I've been living there since '89. I got a gravel driveway, so I remember the storms real well. 96, 98, right before Christmas. That was the worst one to plow. And this one, top 4. But I got plowed in a couple of times by the county, but that can't be helped. And I was out there, had it all dug out yesterday, and here come the county truck plowed it back. But I don't get mad. It's part of the... But another thing, with the snow on people's cars, they should brush that off. I don't know if you ever drove around and missiles come flying at you.
Yeah.
So please, try to remove your snow. And the people that lives in these cul-de-sacs, put the snow towards the side of the grass and the sidewalks, not back out in the street. Then you can't drive. Really? That's all I had to say. But thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Voice of reason.
Great job.
I think now, Mr. Miller, we might have community events.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Christmas tree recycling, as we stated earlier, is going on now through December 12th at Floral Paradise Gardens. That's 461 Greenwell. Christmas trees will be shredded and used for mulch throughout our parks. Please remove all ornaments, tinsel, and lights before dropping off your tree. January 15th is going to be a busy day in the township. We have a wine tasting, Italian night. That is, again, January 15th, starting at 6 p.m., going to 7:30 at the Delhi Event Center, right here at Delhi Town Square. Sample 5 specially selected bottles, adults 21 and up only, and it is $25 a person. Wine will be available for $5 a glass following the tasting. You can also buy bottles at various prices. Find a link to register for this event on the Delhi Event Center's Facebook page, or you can go to delhieventcenter.com.
Your clarification on that, it's $25 a person, but then you're paying for your wine also?
No. So for the base tasting, it's $25.
Okay.
For additional glasses, it's
Okay, so
$5
additional
a piece.
will be available, okay.
And you can also take home bottles, buying those separately at various prices.
Is there food?
There should be hors d'oeuvres, yes.
Italian hors d'oeuvres?
I don't have the menu, sir. I'll find that out. But I do anticipate there will be small bites.
Oh,
Okay.
all right.
All right. So also that night, we have a gallery opening featuring oil paintings by Claire Butler. Claire is a township resident and a well-known artist in the area. Her opening will be from 7 until 8:30 p.m., again at the Delhi Event Center right here at Delhi Town Square. Claire has lived in Delhi Township for nearly 40 years and has been painting since 2005. She paints in both oil on both canvas and linen. She does still lifes, florals, and occasionally portraits and dogs. So come on out and see her. All right. The Delhi Skirt Game Chili Cook-Off is Sunday, January 19th. From 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. at Maloney's Pub. Have your chili ready to serve by 12:35 p.m. Not 12:30, not 12:40, 12:35. No entry fee, $10 to taste, $5 for kids, 10 and under. Fan favorite vote with first, second, and third place awards. Split the pot and basket raffles will also be on site. And finally, our first ever Delhi on Tap event at Delhi Town Square will be Saturday, February 22nd from 4 until 8 p.m. Again at the Delhi Event Center at Delhi Town Square. Explore a diverse selection of craft beers from 16 top beer vendors while enjoying delicious food offerings throughout the day. With music from Tyler Moore, Ryan Alfred, Megan Richardson, and Bob W. Cushing. Find a link to register for this event on the Delhi Event Center's Facebook page, and I believe that'll also be on Eventbrite.
Okay.
We'll have more information for that coming up, both in the newsletter and on our Facebook page.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Madam President, can I add an event?
Yes, ma'am.
Here at Delhi Town Square, we're having our first ever bridal show, open house, on Thursday, January 16th from 5 to 8. They would like you to RSVP. They have lots of vendors. It's out on Facebook, and it's also on the Delhi Event Center. If you want to register, it's hello@delhieventcenter.com. But they're going to have vendors there, Delish Dish Catering, McHale's Catering, Chuck Taylor's Bed, Bridal Makeup by Shay, Janae Beauty, music by Proud Sound A, Clear Lighting, Sweets and Meats, Bambino Photography, and more. So please come out, check out what we can do for you for a bridal, for a wedding, or even another special event in your life. So didn't want you to miss that opportunity, because registration, they had it is tomorrow, but don't wait if you can.
Yep.
Sorry.
And I'm actually going to take this opportunity and do a general plug center. If you go to delhieventcenter.com, go to under classes, the arts programming. I believe we currently have listed 87 different programs that are going on over the next several months. So get out there, see what the township has to offer for you. Programming is everything from, painting classes for, and they run the gambit, age 2 all the way up to 92 or more. But we have cooking classes, painting classes. I believe there's some, clay sculpture classes. We have STEM, robotics classes,
Sewing.
wine tastings.
Sewing, pasta.
It's something for everybody. So please get out there, take a look at it, see what the event center has to offer.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, everyone.
Madam Chair, one other point, please. Mr. Swafford, just
Jeez.
because it needs to be on official record, your numerics, you're still on Anderson Ferry?
Yes,
Your numerics on Anderson Ferry address?
5212 Roslyn.
5212 Roslyn off of Anderson Ferry? Thank you. Thank you. Clarification resolved. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. There is no cause for executive session this evening, so if I could have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, it would be an honor to do this first motion to adjourn in 2025.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Our next meeting, now remember, it's on Tuesday, January the 28th, not Wednesday, January the 29th, but Tuesday, January the 28th. We look forward to seeing a lot of you here at 6 o'clock. Thanks so much.
And it's Tuesday because
We're at it.
I know
We are at
Can
the
you tell
Ohio
them?
Township Association
you go.
Convention.
Yes. So there you go.
Learning about government.
We're leaving Brian in charge of the township.
Look out.